I'm going to read to you from a book I'm writing for children between the ages of 6 and 12. It's going to be a bilingual book written both in Spanish and English, and it's really about trying to help kids, particularly those who are of Mexican American descent, to try to understand something of the background of their culture. It's based on a map, a real map, a colonial map that was discovered in an old museum drawer hidden away, and we've been working on analyzing it, and it's a beautiful map in color, painted on amate paper, and it tells the story of young twins who wander through the underworld to get their, what they call teolia, their soul, to acquire their soul, so that they can have the strength to fend off the enemies who are attacking them. And the story I tell, in terms of fiction, is about two Mexican kids, a boy and a girl, whose grandmother shows them this map. And they become so infatuated with it that they actually fall into it, call it a dream. And they undertake to travel this road to acquire their teolia, their soul. And in the course of doing so, they meet up with all sorts of strange characters and people fighting, and fighting wars and earthquakes and tornadoes. And the episode I'll read to you is when they finally enter the so-called land of the dead on this road, where they're required to make one of the greatest sacrifices, and they're really puzzled by it. So here goes. As they hiked ahead past Corn Mountain, talking all the while about Teolia, the road begins to get rough. Soon they notice piles of bones strewn along the side of the road. Arm bones, leg bones, toe bones, even a few skulls. The further along they go, the more bones they find. Femurs and tibias, pelvises and neck bones, piles of them. There are so many bones that the twins need to shovel them aside just to get through. The path is that cluttered with bones. The two don't know that they've entered Mictlan, the land of the dead. Just ahead, the twins make out a shadowy profile. It looks like a human head embedded in the side of a hill. Its eye sockets look too big, and its teeth seem to be jutting out of its mouth. As they approach, stumbling over the bones, they can see that it's a skull, like the skulls that decorate the Day of the Dead ofrendas. Only this one isn't made out of sugar. As they walk through the piles of bones, they enter Mictlan with this skull. Trembling slightly, they approach the skull, and suddenly they hear the sound of clacking teeth. The skull's eyes flash as it speaks out to them. I am the guardian of the realm of the dead, Mictlan. I guard the precious bones that will be used to form new humans. Long ago, your god, Quetzalcoatl, did penance here so that the first humans could be created. We call them Masehuales, which means the deserving ones. They deserved to be created because they did penance. The gods needed to have someone to take care of the earth, and Quetzalcoatl created the first humans out of bundles of bones that he carried back to the surface of the world from Mictlan. Because I am the guardian of all those who have gone before you, I require a sacrifice from you if you want to pass, the skull says. What sort of sacrifice, one twin asks. You must give up something very important, something that really matters to you. Sacrifice is the only way out of here. That won't be necessary, the other brother replies, because we're coming through. And so he leads the way as the two try to climb over a huge mountain of bones that blocks the highway. But for every step the twins take, they fall 2 steps backwards. They back up, and then they begin a running charge. But each time when they get scarcely halfway up the bone hill, they tumble back to the ground. After 100 tries, they lie on the ground, completely exhausted. They have learned the hard way that it's only through sacrifice that they can change their lives. What would you suggest, one brother says, gazing at the guardian skull. I collect Tlamimilistli memories, the skull says, in other words, memories. I live off them, savoring the experiences and joys of difficulties of humans who have lived. I want a memory from you. If one of you agrees to give up the memory of all that has happened on this journey, then the two of you may pass, he replies. Give up my remembrance of the past, the first twin says. Ka amo, no way. The two are in utter unison as they make one last try, this time running around the side of the pile of bones, but they lose their footing. They slip, they fall. They They can feel themselves being pulled backwards by a force that seems like a huge magnet acting on the bottoms of their feet. "Now who shall it be?" the guardian of Miquelon asks. "I'll do it," says one twin. "I'm more forgetful than my other twin anyway." But before that twin can speak another word, the other charges forward to confront the skull. "No, take me." A blinding flash of light issues from the head of the skull to his own as he tumbles backward. Suddenly the twins find themselves on the other side of the bone pile. "What? Where am I?" asks a dazed first twin. "Looks like we've been let through," says the second. "Through what? Where are we anyway?" says the first twin, puzzled look on his face. "Are we still in the House of Darts?" Before the second twin can answer, he realizes that his twin's memory has been erased. He knows what's in store for him. He will have the responsibility of teaching his twin about their past and convincing the other twin of its importance. "I know you're going to find this hard to believe," he tells his dazed twin, "but we have just passed through Miquelon." "Miquelon? What's that?" "What do you mean we passed through it?" asked the other twin. "I thought we just passed through the House of Darts." "Well, let me tell you the whole story from the beginning. You have to listen. Just after we left the House of Darts, we started out on this road of Teolia. Now, let me tell you what I mean by Teolia, because it's something you and I have definitely got. And now we're really ready to make a new place for ourselves as soon as we get back home." Well, the first twin begins to tell the second twin step by step about their journey and what they've learned. The other twin asks many questions. At first, the attitude toward the first twin's tale is plagued with doubt because all that twin can remember is the House of Darts. The twin feels that as a vague recollection of the different characters like the Stone Man and Winning Gold that they encountered on their trip, but it's as if they are characters that visited them in a dream they had. The memories of the road of Teolia come in and out of focus in the mind of one twin as that twin listens to the history.